Welcome to another edition of Tom's Real Food Podcast. Today's podcast is brought to you by this Wednesday's video, Keto Fusion, put ingredients together that you never think would work. Play with your food. Let's get back to the podcast. Hey everybody, welcome back to Tom Garber, the Keto Cook, the podcast today on Tom's Real Food Podcast. I'm going to be showing you a lot more video than me just sitting here talking. I'm going to show you how I freezer pack some chicken. I'm also going to show you how I cut up an olive round. That is one of the toughest cuts of meats, but I cut it up in different ways and I think I made 7 different meals out of it. So saving a little bit of money there, and also, a little gadget that I made from my spaghetti squash, how to cut it up and stuff like that. So let's get to the podcast. Okay, right off the bat, we do a lot of spaghetti squash. In the beginning, actually, I didn't really care for it. But I was at that moment in my keto life that I was trying to mimic pasta and stuff like that. And naturally, it doesn't taste like it because you know what? It's not pasta. It's spaghetti squash, right? So cutting this, you can hurt yourself. You can really cut really bad. Now, in the beginning, everybody cuts the spaghetti squash long ways. Okay, so in retrospect, that's a lot of spaghetti squash to eat. And then what do? You store it in the refrigerator, make it next day, whatever. A lot of people mix it in with different ingredients, so it has its own shell, which is fine. You can still do that. That's not a problem. The way I like to do it, because there's just 2 of us. All right, I like to cut it into rings. So prior, I would take a tea towel. Let me set this down. I would take a tea towel and I would roll it up like this. Okay, set it down. Take the spaghetti squash and sort of keep it tight so it doesn't move. Okay, but it still moves. So you got to be really careful with it. Make sure you have a good, heavy, sharp knife. You can even use a bigger cleaver or whatever. But that's there again. You can get hurt with this. So what I did was I put my thinking cap on, and Marie hates when I do that. And what I did was I went to the store, okay, and I bought some round wood. Usually this is for a stool. And what I do is all my cutting boards and stuff that I use, especially my wooden chopping blocks, I use this stuff right here. After we bleach them real good, let them dry real good, and I put this on and let this sit for 24 hours, and then you can use it. So I try to do this at least maybe once, maybe twice a month to do it. If it needs more, then I work with it. All right, so I come up with this thing here. So what I did was I actually took the round piece of wood, drilled some holes in it, got some dowels, drilled the holes in it. Now I can put my spaghetti squash in here, and then I take dowels that are removable. These are glued in, okay? And I'll take my other dowel like that. Here again, not prepared. And then I get my heavy knife, okay, my butchering knife, and then I can cut this. This doesn't move, and I can concentrate on how many slices I want to make to it. We get down to the end, then what I will do is I would take it, slide it all the way down, and cradle it right to there. Now you can get smaller ones. You can move it up a little bit. If you have onions that don't want to cooperate, or anything that you want to slice that you don't want to have it keep moving on you, there you go. You can get it into the cradle like that, and you can cut it up. So very simple, very easy. I was thinking about this for a long time because the older I get, I'm worried about getting hurt. Let's put it that way. Okay, got the chicken here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to split this down the middle. I'm going to take one chicken breast and make it into two, nice and thin for us to use, because there is only two of us. These we save now, all right? I'll cut this out once I open it up. Maria will wash off the tag, and that'll get stapled to the bag that we put it into the freezer. Now, when I say a bag, it's just any kind of bag that we have, but we use that for all our different meats. One bag we have full of beef, another bag we have full of pork, and we have one with chicken in it. So this will go into the chicken bag, and also we save the receipt into an envelope just in case there is a recall. Way too many recalls for nonsense as far as I'm concerned. It's just to raise the price. Now you can actually see right here that this is $14.98 for 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 chicken breasts. That's a lot of money, but I got it for $11.15. Well, you know what? Beggars can't be choosy. You need chicken to use, so they got you. All right, so into the sink. Take my little paring knife. I'm going to open this up. Take that label off. Never thought I'd be butchering up a label and everything. Well, Maria will wash that after we get done with the meat, and that'll get put away. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, I've got cool water running. 6, okay? One hand holding the bowl, the other one working with the chicken. Now what I'm simply going to do is I'm going to just run some water on it. Now a lot of people say, no, you're not supposed to do that because you're spreading the chicken juice all over the kitchen. That's bullcrap. Okay, it really is. Let it sit there a minute, and we're just going to rinse it off. I'm going to rinse it again. A lot of times when you open chicken like this, it's sticky. It has that sticky texture to it, and I don't trust that. That's how cross-contamination can happen. All right, so these feel pretty good. I wouldn't worry too much about it. So I'm going to let them sit there like that for a couple minutes until I get my cutting board all set. And when I work with chicken, I use paper towels to dry my hands and stuff off with. Just superstition, the way we were taught to do it, but like everything else, times have changed. So, okay. So, Marie now is going to take the chicken and put it on a rack to dry it so I can cut it. Let that air dry. I mean, everybody has their own way of doing it. This is the way I do it. You can do it differently. But this is how I prepare it to go into the vacuum sealer. Now, I do have gloves. I don't like to wear any kind of gloves anyway. Besides, it's just the two of us. Back in the day, it was just starting to become a requirement to use gloves. This is why I don't like them. In the heat of the night, getting busy, you got to play with this kind of crap. Never made sense to me. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it on one hand, okay, and then I will take a chicken breast. Now I always start at the thinner end first, okay, so I can follow that contour to split it up. Now why am I doing this? Because one night we might turn around and say, hey, let's have some chicken. We'll pull it out. This is already done. It's half the battle. I can put it into some warm water in the vacuum seal bag, thaw it out a little bit, and right into the frying pan, however I want to do it. So it's much easier than trying to thaw it completely out or go through that stuff. It's done. So, thin part, I got my nice sharp knife. Put my hand down, okay, and I am going to just start. You can't see nothing right now, but I'm going to show you. I'm going to take my hand this way, and sometimes you can get 3 cuts out of one breast. Okay, there we have it. Basically 2 equal parts. This one's a little thinner, but that's fine, okay. And then what I'm going to do is, they're going to go in into a bowl. Now, doing keto, the whole idea is to eat until you're full. But in the same token, don't load up your plate, okay, with a lot of food, and then you're forcing yourself to eat, okay? That's not good. This one I might be able to get 3 out of. Okay. And the reason why I do this is because it cooks up faster. 9 times out of 10, if you're sauteing them, or even in the oven, this part gets cooked first from here back because it's thin. So if you make it an even playing field, all right, you can get away with it. I'm going to take one more out of this one here, just to thin it up. And a little too thin. That's for the chef. Okay, washing it up, you know, generally good hot water. We use Dawn all the time. That seems to be the best, especially, you know, greasy stuff or whatever. Usually cuts it out pretty good. And Marie uses vinegar. Right. We bleach them once a month. Just about everything that we use as far as cutting boards or racks and stuff like that. Yeah. Okay, now we're going to get ready to start roasting some peppers. You know, January now, so basically they're probably coming from Mexico and stuff. Nothing wrong with that, but they're a little bit smaller than what we normally would be getting. But they're fine. Red roasted peppers, you cannot beat. I don't care what anybody says. So what I do is I take my nice pan here. I'm going to throw a little bit of olive oil down on it. Squish it around so every little bit gets it. Go up on the sides a little bit, all the way around. Now people do this differently, and I said this before in another video that I made. Some people like to char them, you know, get the big video effect of charring them. That's fine, okay? A lot of times when you char these, the skin gets charred, gets black, and then parts of the flesh inside that you really want doesn't get cooked. So it's having a blackened raw pepper. I like to do them this way in the oven. Make sure they cook from the inside out. It'll get black on the outside and be able to peel from there. So here we go, and take olive oil's key with this, and the other. Where's my brush? And we have a happy little pepper. Okay, and we're gonna just make sure that this gets coated on all sides, because at one time I will turn these one time. Now, I don't put any kind of seasoning on it because I want the flavor of the pepper. But I love garlic. Marie loves garlic, and we're gonna roast up some garlic here too. Now, I have other garlic that we had just bought, and I'm going to show you how we vacuum seal that. And we'll take it from there. All right, these are going to go in the oven right now. 375 until we start seeing them bubble a little bit. Then I'll take it, turn them, and wait till they go. I'll wait for the professor to let me know when they're ready to be peeled, because she does the job, I don't. She says I don't know what I'm doing. All right, into the oven, 375. Okay, there they are. They're dated, all right? And these are going to go into the freezer now. These are ready to go. So when I take one out, so I take this one out, okay? I'll just bring it out, drop it in some water, start throwing it out. If I'm going to bread them or use panko on them, you know, which is pork rinds, there it is. But also, when we go shopping, we sort of, I mean, we're going the extra mile because of all these recalls and stuff like that. You never know. Everything smells pretty good. All the years I've been doing this, I mean, you could tell when something's bad. Not too long ago, I brought home some pork, and as soon as I opened it, you could tell. You could tell it was gone. Took it back. The store takes it, no problem. But that's what we're doing now. Okay. Okay, boards are nice and clean. I'm getting ready to put my towel down onto this wooden chopping block. I'm going to bring out this plastic one, flipped over. Now Marie washed it, bleached it, And now we're going to get ready to cut up an eye round. Now we're going to have a little discussion about this first. First, I'm going to take it out of the package and I'm going to wash it. Okay, in our discussions on the podcast, talked about the prices of meat. Now this is a cheap cut of meat, all right? It is the most toughest cut on the animal, okay? Best way to do this really is to roast it, you know what I mean? So, I mean, for the two of us, for me to roast this whole thing, doesn't make sense, you know, because then I don't like leftovers as much as if you don't eat it, all of it, then what are you going to do with it? You know what I'm saying? So what I do is I try to portion it out so that when we do eat it on the keto lifestyle, that we eat it, finish it, and then it's done. Because there again, the cravings. You know what? I can have a little bit more. Maybe I can have a little bit more snack. You break your cycle. All right. So with this here, like I said, other videos, the store is getting smart now. They're putting these black magic markers on here, permanent marker on here in case people were taking these labels off, because what they were doing for $21.88, they were putting them on filet mignon or whatever, okay? So if you have somebody up there that doesn't know the price of meats who work at the register, all they're interested in is that barcode. So there again. All right, so what I'm going to do with this, we're going to play today because I'm going to cut this up in thin, some of it thin slices. The last half of it I'm going to keep it as a roast. So you'll see what I'm doing. But first this goes into the sink to get washed. Now before I wash it, I want you to understand why I wash it. Now see all this fluid that's back here? Okay. Now, see this part right here, how nice and red it is, the meat part, how nice and red it is here, okay? Watch when I wash it what happens. It's going to turn colors because this is a stabilizer for the meat. This is reason why you can keep it as many days as you can, all right? Because of that stuff in it. It's nitrogen and some other solution. Each place is different. So this is a blue label. That means it is select. I'm sorry, that is choice. It says right there, USDA choice. And for choice cut, that's still a lot of money for this. Okay. All right, I'm just going to take this right here. And this is IBP, one of the brands. I'm just going to take it down. Now what I want to do is I'm going to run the water. You don't want to run it under hot water. I'm just going to let that water run cool there for a minute. Sink is clean from Mrs. Clean. Now, taking it out of here, put the knife down. Taking it out of here, you can see, and it's sticky, okay? It's got that sticky tendency to the water. So if you're going to just take this out, put it in a pan and start cooking it, that's some nasty stuff that you're using. Okay. Clean water. Clean water. I would hope it's clean water. Now, I'm going to wash off all this excess. It's not blood. It's a solution that they put on there because these things hang for a long time and there's very rarely a lot of blood in it. So, getting this solution out of it, washing it down. It's got a lot of silver skin on it. And we're going to talk about that cat. Okay. Check the water. And this is going to go up on here, and I'm going to pat that dry. But, like I was telling you before. See how nice and red it was before? Now look at it now, how pink it is. Okay? That's because that solution was all over it. Gives it that red color. Don't be fooled. I dried off to one side. And I'm going to try to keep this dry. I mean, most people don't go through this, okay? And then they wonder, "Ooh, that thing stunk." I know a lot of people who would just turn around if they didn't wash it, and it had that odor to it. They would actually just throw it out. That's throwing money out the window, okay? I don't do that. All right, so right off the bat, all this silver skin. Now, I don't have to take it off, but you know what? The way I'm going to cut it, I am. And some of the fat cap. I'm going to leave on because we're going to do this a couple different ways. Like I said, now this is very tough. This is a tough cut of meat. I watched people over the years try to. This is what they call round steak. All right. So if you would go to the store and you would see two beautiful pieces of lean beef in a pack, and it says round steak. Okay. Basically, this is where it came. Okay. So all right. Not too much more on this side. So a little bit here, I can trim that off. All right, so what we're going to do is this thin part right here, I'm going to take, we'll get this out of here. Take some meat off of there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to bring it probably up to about here. All right, I'm just going to cut this off. All right, I'm going to put this off to the side because this is what I'm going to make some of the round steak from. Now, in Texas, they could use this stuff right here. Look at how lean that is. You could pound this out real thin and make country fried steak, chicken fried steak, whatever with this, okay? Or you can cut it up real thin, make pepper steak from the Northeast, peppers, onions with this, or you can make some Oriental beef, beef and broccoli, all that stuff with that. I'm going to put that off to the side. Look at this. That right there tells you that if it ain't cooked right, you'll need dentures plus some of your neighbor's teeth and somebody else's teeth to eat this stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that portion, that barrel. This is like the nicer part of the tougher cut of meat. I'm going to cut it up this way here. All right. I'm going to take that off. I'm going to leave this one here. Now this one here I'll use as a roast. So what I can do is when I do roast this, okay, I'll leave all that fat cap on. I might take some of that heavy stuff off. Let me do it now before I forget. That's all. Just a little bit of it off. Now this will get vacuum sealed, put in the freezer, and this will be January, so it's getting colder outside. So, all right, we're going to put that one off to the side. This little luscious piece right here, I am going to cut this a little thicker, okay? But this is going to get cut into, here, let me cut one. Just about like this here. One. Let me cut up another one, just about that same size. Now, by no means is this steak, okay? It's beef, but it's not steak because you know what? Tough. Reason why I'm cutting these a little thicker here is because how I'm going to prepare them, all right? I'm going to make this in with mushrooms and gravy, okay? I'm going to saute them off, brown them off a little bit, and then slow cook them with the mushrooms and the gravy, all right? Some of it I'm going to do, I'll cut one out, bang it out, roll it up, make a braciole. All right. And let me just try to keep everything sort of even. I mean, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful meat. But we got used to eating ribeyes. We got used to eating all this tendered meat. Okay. And there you go. So I'll take 3 at a time, put 3 into a freezer bag. I'm going to leave that fat on because when you cook it, you want some kind of fat because there is nothing in here. Nothing. People make the mistake by trimming that off, that fat cap off, and then when you cook it, guess what? You might as well cook a chalkboard. So, all right. Okay, now, the smaller piece right here. All right. Now, you can actually take this and you could cube this whole thing up and have cube steak. All right, the same way with it. I'm going to try to do a little something different with it. All right. I'm going to cut it up as thin as I possibly can. I'm grabbing the meat and I'm pulling it back because the knife has a tendency to cut and it goes in this way. So you're going to have a thin part on top and a thicker part on the end. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these and I'm going to cut them I'm going to try to cut that whole thing like this. Let's see if I'm slipping with my butcher skills. Okay. Now what I'm doing is I'm cutting this as thinly as possible. I took most of the silver skin off it. Okay. And let me cut it this way. Cutting against the grain. Nice little thin pieces. This will go into the wok, nice and hot. Peppers, onions, okay. Some
5 point.
All right, 5 pound. Trying to get a couple meals out of this here. So, yeah. Just hold it like that. Get as much as you can from it. Without taking your fingertips off. Okay. You can cut it down as thin as you want, as long as you're going against the grain with it. Now, I've seen back east, there was a couple places that you would go into, and they would corn these for making corned beef out of them. I had it one time, and I tell you what, it wasn't bad. All right, let me finish this up. And the last piece right here, I'm going to cut these up a little bit thicker for another way to cook them. You can pan sear these really, really fast. Make a nice sauce for it. And
Chicken fried steak.
Marie just said chicken fried steak. Little ones. Little ones. You know what? That would be really good with hammer them out. Pound these little ones out. And make a bunch of them for chicken fried steak. But do it with pork rinds.
Mm-hmm.
So it would be, it would be a pork rind piggy fried beef.
And you can do that for me.
Yeah. Okay, there we have it. Now, I'm going to take these, vacuum seal everything up, and we're going to move on to the next project. Okay, so here we have the nice vacuum sealed eye. Now, I'll cook this up. It'll shrink quite a bit. Cook this to rare. We can either make sandwiches with chaffles or any way you want to make it. Also, I have some for pepper steak or whatever. These are the little thicker ones. This is the thinner ones that I cut. Okay, into the wok, however way you want to make it. This got to be cooked hot and fast, so you don't break any teeth on it. And these are the round steaks. Now I will cook, like I said, you can make it. Cook these up with a nice gravy, mushroom gravy or onion gravy, however way you want to get it. I don't want to go Forrest Gump on you, but altogether I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe 7 meals out of that one cut for $21. Okay, so these will all get packed into a separate bag. This will get stapled to it. Okay, we already have the sales receipt in an envelope marked out, and that's how you're gonna have to start doing it, because you know what, throwing money away because you bought something and then all of a sudden somebody says that is a recall because it's possibly salmonella or possibly E. coli. That to me is just we're wasting money. All right, next project. Now, old habits die hard. Now, this is where we used to get it back in the restaurant. Cooking home now. All right, buying garlic. The last 3 or 4 times we bought garlic, and we got it home, bought the whole clove. It went bad, or it was bad, or it was nothing to it, or it started sprouting again. Okay, that's not good. That means that it was old garlic. So, like I said, going against my ways of buying prepackaged stuff, but I mean, this is like the third time I've bought this from a particular store. It's been really good, holds up for a long time. This bag is vacuum sealed. You can seal it, but what I'll do is I'll take this out and we'll portion it into vacuum seal bags, and I will vacuum seal it. It'll go into our produce drawer in a refrigerator, and it stays for a long time. So the last time I bought this was probably maybe a month and a half ago. So, all right. Okay, so I'm going to take some out of the bag just to show you. Okay. They're nice and dry. They are nice, hearty, very hard, nice, clean garlic. Now, I've seen the process of how they do this, and this is all shaken until all the skin comes off, and this is the way they seal it out. Now, in a restaurant, I would get this by the case. That's how much garlic we use. In my house, like I said, just about everything I cook has garlic in it, so we use an awful lot of garlic. Okay, there again, took it from the big bag. We try to leave it in this at one time, and they went south on me pretty quick. So individually, put them into the vacuum sealer. They hold them up really good. Made a couple smaller ones. This is my everyday use one in this jar here. You can leave it in here, but if I take it from these vacuum seal bags and put them back, fill this jar back up again, I will bring out the vacuum sealer and reseal the bag again to keep them going. Now, if you leave them in there a little bit too long without breaking the seal and then re-vacuuming again, this will blow up. It'll be like a balloon from the gases from this fresh garlic. It's amazing to see. In fact, I'm going to make a video of it and go from there. Okay, so there it is. I mean, next project. All right, roasted red peppers are just about done. These are peeling off a little bit. Garlic is beautiful. I'll be chewing on a few of them. This is what I'm talking about right here. See this flesh? Here, this has got to go in. So what Marie will do now is she will put a cover on this and let them finish steaming to get the skin to pull away from the flesh. All right, so this might have to go in for a little bit longer because it's not completely done. It makes a mess trying to peel it, but in the same token, though, I want to make sure that the inner pepper is cooked. That garlic looks absolutely good. So, okay. That's it. Listen, everybody, thanks for watching. I'm Tom Garvey, the Keto Cook. I'm trying to give some tips here on how we are now moving in a different way as far as packing our meat away and how we care for it and our vegetables and stuff. So, yeah. We will see you next time on Tom Garvey, the Keto Cook. Hit that like, subscribe button, and I will talk to you soon. Thank you.